Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Clickbait. We had an intense 2 episodes back-to-back of The Bachelor this week, Women Tell All, and then we saw the dramatic ending with Susie and Clayton. We're going to get into all that. We have our Clickbait of the week, and then a very special guest who I'm so excited that we actually get to interview this man, Jesse Palmer, the new host of The Bachelor. He's doing a great job, and we're going to get some behind-the-scenes talk between him and Clayton, I would think, or at least we're going to ask.
I'm excited to hear from him.
So what's up, guys? How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody feeling? How we doing?
I'm glad to be back, first of all.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back.
Had a few weeks off from the podcast, and I'm pumped to be back.
Yes, we missed you, darling. I hope everything's okay, and we've been sending you our prayers.
Thank you. Just taking it one day at a time, you know. It was good to see y'all last week, too, in person.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, we got to do a fun photo shoot.
Yeah.
Last week with all the different Bachelor-affiliated podcasts, so it was a fun time.
We had a lot of fun at that photo shoot. At least I did.
Yeah.
I was throwing roses, taking pictures. It was fun.
Yeah.
Somehow, Joe took more pictures than anyone there.
All of us.
I know.
I don't know if anyone's surprised by that or not.
How many looks did you have, Joe? How many looks did you have? Tell us.
Because the best is I'll look at myself and be like, I hate the way I look. I got to change. And I do it again. I'm like, no. And then I was getting in both of your heads because then you guys started doing it too. Then Natasha was out there taking a bunch.
Well, yeah, I said he can't be the only diva here. Joe can't be the only diva here. Hold on.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, that kind of has to do with our first article from our Bachelor Nation breakdown, is when everyone was in town in LA for this photo shoot, a lot of you guys got to do Family Feud after that. And I'm so jealous I didn't get to stay and hang out. Natasha, did you get to do it?
No, I did not go.
So it was Bachelor on Bachelor, right? It was 2 Bachelor teams against each other on Family Feud.
It was Bachelor versus Bachelor.
Oh, see, I thought it was going to be like Bachelor versus Too Hot to Handle or something.
Me too, because it was like Celebrity Family Feud.
Well, they have done that. I think in the past it was like, I think the last one was like Bachelor guys versus Victoria's Secret models.
Oh,
yeah.
Can we do Bachelor women and Chippendales? Right?
Yes, honey.
They should.
That would be fun.
This was Team Becca, which was Becca, Thomas, Kenny, Mari, and Mike Johnson, versus Team Michelle, which was Michelle, Nate, Serena, myself, and Rodney.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. It was Becca against Michelle. That's fun.
Okay,
who
my money's on Michelle.
Well, I cannot tell who I can't speak. I can't tell you guys who won. But it was really. I'm a big Steve Harvey fan.
I love him.
Yeah,
that's the part I'm most jealous about.
Yeah,
he seems fantastic.
He's from Chicago too. I'm pretty sure he's from Chicago. But he's just
Bernie Mac was from Chicago.
Was he just as funny in person?
Yeah, he's funny. I
love it.
And of course, you know what? I can't really talk much about it. I can't spoil.
When does it air? Do we know?
I think it airs in the summer.
Who do you think's gonna who's gonna win? Who's your money on, Tia?
Yeah.
Steve Harvey.
I do think Michelle's team. I'm down with Michelle's team. I don't know about Kenny, Mari, and Mike on the other team.
Oh, well, if they end up winning, we owe them. But yeah, I think Michelle's team won too.
I can't say anything because I was there. So
yeah.
Joe, we know your ass won.
No, you don't. You don't.
Thomas was practicing though.
What?
Before they started, Thomas was practicing.
Thomas was practicing.
Photo shoot. He was playing the game on his phone to practice.
Well,
That's
before
funny.
we went to dinner.
Is that cheating?
the night before, and Thomas had like games and everything ready. He was mentally prepared. He was.
I love it. Maybe they had a chance. I don't know. No shade to any of them, but anyway, moving on before I dig myself in a hole. Let's switch to talking about our episodes from this week. So there were two 2-hour episodes. There was a lot going on.
Ooh.
There was something interesting that went on. If you didn't watch the Women Tell All episode, there was a part where Genevieve and Shanae were both in the hot seat together. And Shanae kind of called Genevieve out and said that when Genevieve got sent home from the show, she hooked up with Aaron Clancy.
Yeah. And then
he's been hanging out on Bachelor Nation, and we don't know if it was true or not.
So I watched this episode with my mom, and my mom was like, she is probably just mad no one in Bachelor Nation wants to hang out with her.
I mean, I don't know why she would pull that out of thin air.
Why would she do that?
Well, she was.
My jaw dropped.
She was battling at that point. I mean, it was everyone versus Shanae, and Shanae and Genevieve clearly hate each other.
Genevieve was on one. Some of the comments were a little personal, but
I couldn't even see like who was saying what. Like people were like yelling, and like I couldn't even see whose voices were what. But I said, "How they got my boy out here like this? Why they doing this to him? What's going?"
I know.
We all know him.
His face was just like.
Yeah, but also kind of loving it. Like, hold on, wait, what? You know? Did you guys see?
Like, wait, bring me up.
Well,
right?
instead of guessing, why don't we give him a call? Should we call Aaron and hear his take?
Yeah, do y'all have his number?
I have his number. And yeah, I mean, I already know the tea. It's not my tea to tell. Hold on, let me see. I was like, what? I was like, huh? Let's see.
All right, let's do it. Let's call, see if he'll answer.
The best is Aaron
Aaron will actually clear it up.
Aaron was posting like it was stupid, and you know he loved it.
Yeah, did he? Aaron Clancy.
What is going on, Natasha?
You're live.
Hi, honey.
Aaron, wait, can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm on Clickbait. I'm recording Clickbait right now with Tia and Joe. Your lovely beach your lovely beach babes.
What's up, beach buddies? What's going on?
Hi, Aaron.
Well, we talking about you, honey, because you came up on Women Tell All, so we talking about you. If I sent you a link, could you get on this? Could you get on Clickbait really quick? Because we got some questions.
Yeah.
We got some questions for
we
you,
know your
honey.
ass ain't doing anything.
And you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah, I got you.
So help you God. Okay, I'm about to send you this link. Hop on. Bye.
Nice. I didn't know you had a link for him. This is even better. I thought.
Yeah, baby. I'm about to send him this link real quick, yo. Come on, Aaron Clancy.
So now I don't know if Aaron's going to go back to Paradise, but after this, I think he's at least going to get asked.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I think he was going to get asked anyway.
Yeah.
Why does that seem like it was an eternity ago? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hey. So Aaron, are you the drama or what?
Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
All right, so let me refresh. Let's refresh your memory here, Aaron. So at the Women Tell All, I don't know if you were watching. Shanae said to Genevieve that she fucked Aaron Clancy. That's you. So do you want to
appreciate it?
Wait, first tell us how y'all met, if you actually met ever, or is it just DMs?
Yeah. No. So we met one time randomly at a bar. So Clayton's season hadn't even aired yet. So I didn't know who she was, but she knew who I was, obviously from Paradise. She came up to me, introduced herself. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I probably a hug maybe, but that was pretty much like the extent of it. I didn't really know anything. I didn't really care to know too much about. I didn't talk about The Bachelor or anything. But yeah, that was it.
But she told you she was on the show.
Yeah.
Right? She told you she was on the show?
Yeah. So she told me she was on the show. They had already wrapped filming, and I didn't know who she was at all. And then so it was like super surface level. I guess. Oh yeah. So she did post me on her story. I was absolutely hammered. I was sitting there. Yeah. So she was holding a rose, and she went like that, like kind of behind her. And I looked at the camera and I was like, like a zombie. And yeah, dude, it was bad. It was bad. And it got reposted by like one of those bad Bachelor pages, like Batch Recap or something. And I guess Shanae saw it and ran with it.
Now,
Okay.
are you interested in dating Genevieve at all? Is there any interest?
Will there be any love on the beach with Genevieve?
I think there's going to be love on the beach. Like, hopefully I'm involved in it, obviously. But
so you want to go back?
If I do, if I do, I live in San Diego, so there's gonna be love on. I'm on the beach, like anywhere.
On the beach every day.
Okay.
Wait. To be clear, I need you to tell me, did you or did you not hook up with this girl?
I did not. No, I did not.
You did not.
I did not.
Okay.
There wasn't even an opportunity. There
it is, listeners.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to either.
Okay.
I was too busy worried about James.
That's what I don't want.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want him to be upset with me.
I was watching with my mom, and I was like, my mom was like, Aaron did, and I was like, Aaron's such a gentleman. He would not do that. He would not do that.
Yeah, honestly, it takes me like, I'm sure you guys all know me on like a personal basis as well. It takes me like a few times of meeting someone before I even kind of give them that second look where I'm like, okay, maybe, I see something there. And so when I first met her, and when I go to bars and stuff too, especially like after the show, I do kind of have like a little bit of a guard up where I'm just like, okay, like shaking hands, like, kissing babies or whatever, but I'm not really seeing the first girl that walks up to me, even if she says she's from Clayton season. And I'm like, thinking about her in that way. It's more of like, okay, hey, nice, good to meet you,
right.
Move on. Yeah, not really like, okay, like maybe she is. I don't know anything about her at all. Like I don't know if she's the villain. I don't know if she's cool or not cool,
Yeah, we can't be messing with the villain.
So you're just a well-behaved, wholesome boy is what you're telling me.
No, but
who's hammered? Who's hammered?
Right. I'm like, you're hammered. How do you even remember?
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about at a bar is like where my next shot's coming from, not necessarily. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wait. So we have one more thing to clear up too. So Genevieve said, but you've been in his DMs though, and he think you crazy. Is this true? Has she DM'd you? I mean, I know.
Yeah. So nothing crazy. One thing I did watch the tell-all I did want to kind of correct was Shanae never replied to my messages. She replied to my story.
So she hearted your stories or like.
Yeah, okay. But not
which
like
stories though?
Anyone that I'm looking pretty good in, to be honest. I don't know, but
this is too much between him and Joe.
Come on, show us. I want to see.
Wait, so you messaged her first? You said she didn't reply to your message.
So
where'd she get that from?
I'll post this story, and then she'll like she did it like 3 or 4 times where she'll post like that emoji that's like a yellow face with like hearts for eyes. Yeah. And she'll like respond with that.
I want to see. Can you show us?
So she follows
show us, please.
Like
please,
show you
please.
in the camera with my phone?
Show me.
Yeah,
Pull it up.
See if there's a reply in there
and
from
you never said anything?
Right. Is there going to be a blue message from you in there?
If there was, I definitely wouldn't show it.
All right, and then I
unsend.
Then we got to kick you out, Aaron.
You can kind of see, right? Can you see? It
says,
he's shirtless.
The heart emoji is a reaction
unaccepted.
To the story.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
good
not
job,
like,
Aaron.
Obviously, like, I look pretty good in that one, so.
You're in the beach. Look, you got your shirt off. She said, I'm trying to see you in paradise.
Oh, my God.
That's one of my better looks. Come on.
Aaron, I think we're going to have to let you go unless you want to show us your DMs between you and Genevieve.
Go ahead.
Yo, I'm going to have to show our DMs between us. Like,
Don't show those. Don't show those. James will get mad.
Yeah.
Aaron, thank you.
Jamesy.
Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, Aaron, thanks for coming on.
Bye, Aaron.
Bye.
What a goober. I love him.
Y'all listen.
He's funny.
So the tea is out. The tea is piping hot. They did not hook up, and Shanae was in those DMs. Oh, wait, did you guys see the date of those DMs? Because those are like old pictures. Those were like, hold on, let me see. The one
now I
picture
want to
that
know if anyone else has been sliding in his DMs or anybody's DMs.
Oh, I'm sure Aaron, if he gets steps foot on that beach, he gonna be a hot commodity, honey.
Yeah,
Wait.
he is
He's
now.
gonna expose everybody too.
Wait a second.
Down.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm looking.
You want to see my DM? Sure, text. Yeah, no problem.
Wait, guys.
No
I'm trying to
hesitation.
go back to his old picture so I can see when he posted that picture.
Yeah, but
'cause
those
I
are
wonder-
Natasha. Those are stories.
I know, but he would have posted it from his.
No, stories go away in 24 hours.
No, I know, but
Welcome
I'm
to
saying,
Instagram.
but you know when you post a picture and then you post the story of like this
Yes,
picture
yes. You're
that she
sharing to say, like,
this
new
picture
post.
that she replied to was in July
Oh.
of 2010. That's what I'm saying. So like, was she replying all the way
July?
back then? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
That's
like,
when he just got home from paradise.
mm,
Damn.
They hadn't even shot Bachelor yet. Ooh, Shanae shooting her shot
Oh,
early. Okay.
Honestly, it's the least surprising thing that Shanae's done.
Okay, wait. I have a question for Tia and Joe from the Women Tell All before we move on. What did you guys think of Cassidy saying, the dick was good, I wasn't going to let it go?
Shit. Unless she was
If it
engaged.
was- she was engaged. Did you agree with that or was you like, girl, what?
I honestly, I thought Cassidy or Cassie?
Cassidy.
I think it's Cassidy. I thought Cassidy handled it the best way she could have. I thought she was somewhat funny.
She owned it.
She
Yeah.
owned it. I thought she did the best she could in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, props
I mean,
to her.
I may have thought what she was saying, but I don't think I would have said it out loud.
Hey,
I ain't gonna give it up unless I'm engaged. All right, girl. All right. Taylor was watching with me and was like, damn, what'd she say? I'm like, you heard it. A lot of
Yeah, I
people
could-
probably do that. They just don't talk about it that freely.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, so that, I mean, the Women Tell All, it was a lot of screaming. It was a lot of crazy. Yes, people were, I know Sierra was getting a lot of hate as well for being so outspoken. But she was like that the whole entire show. Like she
Right.
says what's on her mind. And
I mean, she wasn't wrong about anything she was saying. It was all the truth.
Yeah, and after watching this episode, it's like, I think I wanted to be like, I hope Shanae just learned something and like she watches this back and she learns something and she changes and da-da-da.
Yeah.
It don't seem like she did, y'all.
Right.
yeah, but also
Right.
in her defense, not that I'm Team Shanae, but watching it back, like she has no ass. Is she wearing a diaper? Is she's like
That's
walking
No,
on
too
not
stage?
not that. I'm talking about watching back the season. I'm not talking about
Oh,
Women
yeah.
Tell All. I'm talking about watching back the season when you see yourself acting in a certain way, and she still doubled down on, lying to the
Right.
girls, but not to Clayton. I'm not talking. Yeah, it was all catty. The comments back and forth and blah blah blah. That because I feel like we've seen it with like Queen Victoria. We've seen it with other people. Who were villainized and then they have looked back and been like, oh yeah, that wasn't a good look, and they owned up to that,
Yeah.
but it
you
didn't
can
seem
respect
like
that, but
right. You can respect that, and I was just hoping that at Women Tell All she had one of those moments and she doubled down on kind of everything. But yeah, the calling the names and all that, yeah, we know we don't want that.
all right, let's touch a little
Good.
bit on the Fantasy Suites episode. So this is our third Bachelor Nation breakdown of today. Clayton
Yes.
told all three of the women in some form of or capacity that he loved them or was in love with them during the Fantasy Suite dates.
Yeah.
It didn't really fare well for him, especially with Susie. It seemed to affect Susie the most because she was the third one to have a date. It reminded me a little bit of Ben Higgins' season where he told JoJo and Lauren that he loved them or was in love with them. And that was just two women and everyone lost their shit. Clayton done said it to all three, yelling it from the car.
He's screaming it.
Screaming it.
But do you notice how particular he was with those words?
Okay, the wording was different.
falling.
Yes. He told Rachel, I love you.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
he said to Gabby, I'm falling in
Yes.
love with you, which I was like,
Yes. Uh-huh. It was different.
it was different.
I think.
And
I
in my
think the
head, it
big
sounds
thing-
different.
So obviously the big story is the Susie situation, right, and how he handled it. And yeah, he definitely did not handle it well. Like it wasn't the best. Now in the same breath, yeah, Susie should you know, she obviously watches the show, so she knows what happens at the end. So if that was a conversation they have beforehand, sure, it didn't go down that way. He didn't handle the situation good.
I feel like...
okay, back. Let's go back for a second. Do you think Susie was upset about solely the hooking up, or the fact that he was falling in love or in love with other people? Because she said both, and I wonder if he didn't hook up with them but still told her I was in love, if she would have still left. Because on that date, she did not know that they had hooked up yet or anything, right? Like confirmed. She just knows how the two of the women came back and clearly they were happy, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Well, she was saying, like, nobody's saying about, you know, their feelings that they have for Clayton. I'm like, why would they talk about that to you, Susie?
Right.
They're not going to. And it's
her energy was very much like, don't, like, I'm trying, but like, don't touch me.
Like, she's also has a lot of alone time, and she's probably getting in her head, picturing, you know, what goes down in the fantasy suites, and she's letting that, you know, that image or in thinking about that
totally
get the best of her. And I think that's what happened. But so, like, my take on all this, I watch it and I feel for Gabby and Rachel, because they're going to watch it back and they're going to be like, here's a guy that we slept with.
You mean in present time?
Yeah, in present time. Here's a guy that we slept with. He said, I love you and I'm falling in love with you to both of them. But then, you know, later in the week with Susie, he's like, well, if I knew how you felt, I wouldn't have done any of that. So,
which I'm gonna hit the bullshit button.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to say.
I'm gonna hit the bullshit button.
He obviously had feelings for all of them, or they wouldn't be in the top 3.
Yeah,
that's what I would think too. But he said to Susie, if this is how, if you would have expressed to me how you felt, then I would have went about it differently.
Yeah,
with the sex or with the I love you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I want, the clarity. It's like she kept talking about being intimate, and then secondary kind of saying, and if you love other women, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if the intimacy part was the big thing for you, like, this is my hot take. I'm going to tell you my hot take. My hot take is since watching this show, people who like kind of wait till the way in to sort of show a certain card, seems like there is something, like, even I love Maddie on my season, you know, she did a similar thing where she didn't tell Peter that she was a virgin until kind of later on. Whereas we saw that with Teddy this season. She told him, not right away, but she told him sort of fairly early on. And it's kind of like, you know,
that's their eject button.
Yeah, kind of. It's like when you wait, it's like, I don't know why this is the person you're gonna look to marry, and this is such a big thing, especially on this show. Why I want to know why people wait to say these things. And for Susie, it's like she waited clearly because she said explore these relationships, because it seemed like it was out of nowhere, right? It was like, wait, oh, she care about this? We didn't know that. And I wonder, and maybe when Jesse comes on, he can maybe give us some clarity here, but was it really that abrupt that, like, they never talked about this? Because it seemed that way. And so, you know, I don't know.
The only thing I can really try to reason and understand with Susie is I like that she expressed how she felt. I mean, I feel like that's important to express how she feels in this situation.
100%. 100%.
But the point of her saying, you know, if you know it's going to be me at the end, why would you be intimate with these women? I can understand that, but he doesn't know yet.
I don't think he knew. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think he knew.
But that's his...
I'm picking Susie. Yeah, he probably shouldn't sleep with 2 other women before, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's why he didn't communicate that well then, because he told Susie at the table, like, to me, he was saying, like, it's you.
See, and I know, and I hear you on that, Joe. I hear you 100%. And I know we just had Clayton on last week, but That's where I hit the bullshit button. I don't think he knew. I do not think he knew.
Well, then he should have said that. I think he should have said, like, hey, like, I'm still, like, I feel very strongly about these two women. This is what I did. And Susie wanting to leave is okay. Like, it should have just been like, hey, listen, like, yeah, he should have been like, you know, I feel very strongly about you, but if you got to go, you got to go.
I think he was
and that's easier
angry
said than
about
done,
it because he knew he was really into her and didn't want to leave.
Also, I feel like this happens too. Like, I don't know about Tia on your season, but it's like this thing about almost like people self-eliminating or like people leaving that it's really, I don't know, it's really, you know, you have 30 people going after you and then it almost makes you want that person who's leaving kind of even more, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where it's like, I just wonder, again, we don't know, but if Gabby would have pulled this or if Rachel would have showed hesitation on their date, would he have been more all in on that? Because my biggest criticism of Clayton is just that it seems like even on the Women Tell All, he was talking about this too. Like this thing happened with Sarah and he switched a thing. Then this thing happened with, with one of the other girls and he switched a thing. It's like he's just so on the fly with it that it seems like he didn't know even up until this point, he didn't know.
And if he did, he should have
expressed it.
Yeah.
Right.
For real, like he waited, like, and I think that was the thing too. He waited so long to like say I'm falling in love and I love you, and then like it was like he waited so long, and then he, like you said, like he's screaming it from the rooftops. It's like
I thought the lead wasn't even supposed to say it because it makes things complicated. I thought it was a role, but I guess not. I guess it's just personal preference.
Yeah, I think it's personal preference.
Because he even said that with Serene. When Serene said that, it's like, okay, now I have to tell these girls how I feel, right? And it's like, but you should have been doing that from the beginning because they feel like they were not getting, and that also could be why Susie was like, I'm out because I literally don't know how you feel and I haven't known how you felt. I just know these two girls just came back from their one-on-one dates and they look like they're glowing. Yeah. I mean, Gabby with her hair all over her head. I said,
she's like,
Lord. Okay, Lord. I was like,
honestly, I know we got to move on, but I was truly shocked that Susie was the one that he was feeling the strongest about. I from watching this from the beginning, I thought it was Rachel.
I thought it was Rachel.
Yeah.
Well, no, Joe, you said Susie.
Yeah.
You said like, Susie.
That was
I might have, but their connection, like, maybe I'm going back on what I said. I could be.
Definitely, y'all. Run back the tape.
No, I'm actually
definitely said
pretty
Susie.
sure.
You said Susie.
I'm actually pretty sure I said I thought Susie was going to be the Bachelorette.
You said Susie. You said he has the strongest connection with Susie. You said that, and I said I think it's Rachel. 100%. You said it. It was after their date. It was after the. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could have. Okay.
You 100% said it.
Yeah.
I remember.
Also, just one little quick thing. It's the girls' journey too. It's not just Clayton. Like Clayton has to be into these girls, but these girls, it's got to be reciprocal. You know, like it's important to their journey too.
Right, because they're also getting engaged as well. And this is supposed to be a magical moment for them as well. Yeah. I think I'm watching this and I'm looking at Susie and I'm looking at Clayton. I think the way it ended was very, very bad. It was like she shut down, he shut down, and it wasn't even, they weren't trying to figure it out. He was like, well, we have to figure this out if we're going to be together. That's a relationship. But she was like, not if I already feel like I can't trust you. Correct. So listen, it's that, like Joe said, Rachel and Gabby probably feel awful watching this back, seeing how all of that went down. And I think the girls at the Women Tell All kind of alluded to it, you know. And I wonder if Kira, the one who shot her shot at Clayton, she's still feeling the same way, honestly.
Oh, God, that was out of left field.
That was so wild. I said, okay, Kira. Okay,
and
girl.
He's like, what's your name again?
Oh!
You were on my season. What? He looked at her like he didn't know who she was. I'm like, is he going to respond?
He was just like, whatever.
It's very bizarre.
He was like, I'm actually over here with my heart broken, girl. Leave me alone. That's not funny, guys. That's not funny. We're not laughing. So, guys, we're going to just go through this clickbait because it's just very simple and truly just, I guess, one question. They're asking us in the clickbait of the week, will you, hold on, if he wanted to, he would. Is that something that women put on men and now the roles have reversed? And if you want something, girl, you would? Or do you guys stand by that statement of, yeah, if he's not doing something, it's because maybe he's not that into you? Because, you know, we all heard about that book years ago. And they said, if he's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not that into you. What do you think? It's 2022. Joe, give it to me.
I think it's a medium, but I think you got to go for what you want. I think you need to express how you feel. I think it's always fine to play games at the beginning, but if you want something, you gotta grab it.
Guy or girl?
Both.
Right. Everything,
Yeah,
anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I think either or. It's like,
yeah,
if you want something, say it.
We could change it to if they wanted to, they would. So it could be for men or for women.
Right, right.
But I've always liked that
non-binary.
saying. Yeah. I like that saying, and I feel like in the article it touched on, you know, you don't know someone's trauma or someone's past with relationships, so maybe they don't know how to do that, but it's just little things. It's like to text back, to call someone, to check in on them, to do like these simple things. If they wanted to, they would. If it's like major grand gestures, like, no, of course there are things that could get in the way of that. But if they, I like the saying.
Yeah, so Tia is basically saying, so the article talks about how the criticism is, no, it's not that simple, that if he wanted to, he would. It could be deeper than that because of past traumas and blah, blah, blah. And then other people, and I'll read this little excerpt that says, I respectfully disagree. Some things in life are really that simple. It's just, and this is just one of them. So I personally believe on both ends, for no matter who you are, he, she, they, if you wanted to, you would. So I've been in situations where I've put myself out there and gave, and I wasn't getting that back. And you need to recognize that and notice that someone else would be doing and putting in the effort that you're putting out. And I think that's the big takeaway from this article. If you're going to put yourself out there, that other person should catch you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't keep putting yourself out there and that person doesn't. And I've had to learn that in so many ways, and still learning that in so many ways, even with friendships. It's like, I'm clearly always doing this for this person and that person don't give two fucks, you know, or whatever. So I personally agree that it is that simple. And when I'm like dating a guy and there's a guy, he's like, oh, let's hang out. When are you free? And I'm like, oh, I'm free this day, like 5 different days 5 different times. And he'll be like, oh yeah, well, I got this going on. I got that going on. What? What you mean?
Then why'd you ask?
What you mean? Exactly. Whether there's this other guy, he's like, whoa, how about this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And he's giving me all these times. And he's like, you pick one. I'm like, okay, that energy. Yes, you. Right. So I will see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, it's this dance, and relationships are hard, and I get that. But I am team, if he wanted to, he would. If she wanted to, she would. If they wanted to, they would. We saw that even on our Bachelor episode. If he wanted to, he would, and he did. Yep. He told her deuces, you know?
Okay, well, it is that time for our guest. I'm very excited to have this guy on, the one and only Jesse Palmer, the host of The Bachelor. Please welcome him to the podcast. All right, Jesse, you ready for this? You ready for clickbait?
I'm so fired up. Joe, where are you? Are you in Chicago? Where are you right now?
I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I'm in Chicago.
Are you in the South Loop?
I'm in the West Loop.
West Side.
All my boys in Chicago, they're all South Loop guys, like South Wabash guys.
Okay, that's right by. Well, you're an NFL player. It's right by Bear Stadium, South Loop.
Tasha, Tia, where are you guys?
I'm in Nashville.
Nice.
And I'm in LA for another 2 days.
I feel
that
like you guys
house
are
is so beautiful.
Yeah, it looks so nice. Oh my God.
Thank you.
You're in New York, right?
Yeah, but I'm moving, so that's why this thing is blurred, because there's literally
Okay.
moving packing boxes all over the place behind me. So
Where
Sorry,
are you
I've got my
moving?
blank wall, so.
we're moving to Miami.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
I'm excited. Got stuff a
Wow.
lot more SPF. Gonna have to really,
Yeah, big
really start.
difference.
I'm
difference.
I'm Canadian, so I get sunburned really fast.
Is
Nice.
that a
Very
thing?
quickly.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. Yep.
Mm,
For Canadians, kind of tricky.
okay.
It's freckly skin, not great.
Yep.
All right, let's start this thing. So I'm gonna welcome you to the podcast and whatever. All right, Jesse, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm awesome. It's great being on with you guys. Great to see you all.
Yeah, this was an intense week. Have you been in touch with Clayton? How's he doing?
You know, I haven't been in touch with Clayton since everything aired. I can only imagine sort of the headspace that he's in right now, just judging by social media and everything we've seen sort of in the last 48 hours. I think Clayton knows that coming up on Monday and Tuesday and after the final rose, he's going to be in a hot seat. I think we all know that.
It's 2 episodes next week, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh yeah, a lot. There's a lot left.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to be him right now.
Yes.
Okay, so Monday
Well,
night we
okay.
have the woman tell all. That was also pretty insane. What was the vibe in that room that night?
It was, it was intense. It was definitely intense. It sort of felt like I was playing football again. Like I felt like I was in the pocket. It was like, the craziness of having 300-pound people grabbing at your legs and everybody's yelling and you're in the eye of the storm and you're trying to keep your composure and poise. That was a lot. And of course, I've been there before and I've done that. I'd been in the hot seat back when I was the Bachelor, but I don't remember it getting that intense and that crazy. Like I knew that there was going to be some venom spat all over the place, especially with all the stuff that happened with Shanae this season.
Yeah.
But I did not know it was going to get like that, man. It was intense in that studio. And when it was all said and done, I was so emotionally and mentally and physically exhausted. It was just so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
that
call
was a
that
lot.
on a scale of 1 through 10. That was a 10. What were you expecting it to be?
I thought it was going to be like a 7.
Right.
I really
Yeah.
thought, I thought it would like kind of like it would get hot and then start to simmer and then boil and then kind of come back down to a slow simmer and kind of just would go low and slow, to use awful cooking analogies. that was like a rapid pressure cooker boil out of the gate.
Guns
And it
blazing.
Full send. Yeah.
It didn't stop. It did not stop.
I feel like
Yeah.
you
just
tried to
wall
break it up
wall.
a few times and they weren't listening to you.
No.
No, it was almost at one point they were gonna be like, Jesse, leave us alone.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like just like they're coming for anybody that's on that stage, you
Like
know?
was
Jesse's
like,
trying to do his
guys,
nice
oh,
segue,
yeah.
and they're like, no shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use my quarterback voice better. If there is a next time, I'm gonna have to definitely stand up and start. I need a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
or something,
A whistle.
referee whistle. That would have been
Absolutely a whistle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so from watching this Women Tell All, do you remember your Women Tell All when you were the Bachelor?
I do.
How does it compare?
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's like they say in sports, right? Like you remember your wins, but you always remember tough losses. And I think every Bachelor / Bachelorette always remembers the tell all, because that's the time that you finally have to confront and come face to face with some of the people that you dated, and people are looking for closure. They want clarification on things. It's the first time you're all back together. And I remember I remember mine. It was great seeing everybody again. We got to laugh about some of our experiences. You guys saw in the tell all this past week, my blooper reel. There was a lot to laugh at me about, obviously. But there was some serious moments as well. And apologies had to be given, explanations to try to give everybody closure. So it was really, really hard. I remember that.
So you calling the wrong name. I was like, I need to watch this episode. Was this before
painful.
Pauly? Like,
That was
I mean,
funny.
was there no Pauly when you were the Bachelor?
Oh, no. Pauly was there. He was like waving the paper. He was like, go ahead, say it. Like the getting the wrong name, it's like something that because it happened so long ago, I feel like it's something that so many people sort of have heard about, but they never really saw it. So they don't, it's sort of like urban myth or legend. They weren't really sure if that was like a real thing. And you saw how that whole thing went down. Back then that night, I remember, I forget how many roses I was handing out, but I think it was something like, it was like 15 or 14 or 16 or something. And I decided that I was just going to go for it and try to rip off 15 names. Boom, 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 boom. I didn't know that you could like walk off the set, collect yourself, get the names, you know, the producers come over. Okay, we're going to go back out. So I just tried to do it. And that's where I hit the Karen Katie hurdle, and you saw how that all went down. I will never forget those names again for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life.
Have you ever seen either of them again, like after that?
You know what's ironic? Yesterday, after Women Tell All aired, I got a video message from Karen on social media, who I hadn't seen in like 18 years.
Wow.
And she was like, "Hey, it's Karen, not Katie. It's Karen. Don't worry." And I was like, she was killing me in the video. And she was just catching up. And she was like, "Hey, I've been watching on the season. You're doing great. We're having fun watching. Keep up the good work, yada, yada, yada." But
thank God it was positive.
It was
She's
amazing.
like, "I've been in therapy this whole time because I've been so distraught. That'd be terrible."
I've had PTSD at every rose ceremony this season. I'm over in the corner, like I'm watching Polly and I'm watching Clayton. I'm looking at Polly. I'm looking at Clayton, freaking out.
You were only 25, right?
Yes.
Looking back, do you think you were too young? At least.
No. You know, it's funny. The example I had growing up for finding love was that there really is no playbook for it. My parents both got married when they were 24. They had gone on like 5 dates and then went to San Francisco and eloped. And 44 years later, they're still together. So, you know, I was sort of brought up sort of thinking like it can happen anytime if you meet the right person. You just have to be open to it. So I was definitely, I feel like I was mature enough and I was ready enough. It may not look like that after Final Rose when I was chomping through corn on the cob while trying to talk, but it was, I really feel like back then I was in the right place to do it. Obviously, unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah. And sometimes that happens.
Let's, night 2, Iceland. Let's talk about now what everyone's talking about is the Clayton Susie leaving, the breakup. You were in the room with Clayton after she left. How was he in that moment?
I think the best way to describe it, Clayton was shattered and he was really lost, I think. I don't think that night ended out anywhere near close to what he had anticipated or what he was hoping for. I know going in how excited he was to tell Susie that he was in love with her. What happened afterwards, he was not expecting. And I think we all sort of saw on TV what I saw in person. Clayton kind of started spiraling as he was at the dinner table with Susie, and he started to get emotional. And you know, he walked outside. Obviously, I went and saw him outside because I think Clayton was in a position that he needed to vent and he needed to talk to somebody that wasn't Susie. But he was so emotional, so fired up, and I think he was everything. I think he was confused. He was upset. He was trying to process everything in real time. But he was a mess that night in Iceland for sure.
Well, and his other 2 dates went so well with the other women. He was like, "All right, let's finish it off," and it just did not go how he planned.
Can you give us an idea of how long that conversation really was between the two of them at dinner table?
With Susie? If I remember, I would say, I think it was at least an hour. This is before she got up. This is before she got up. Before she got up and left. And then, of course, she came outside and got him and brought him back inside again. So, I mean, they had a lot of time together to try to hash that out. But I just remember in that moment, nobody really knowing what was going to happen. Obviously, I'm there the producers are there and we're all sort of watching. No one had an inkling or an idea how that was going to end. We were all hearing Susie's perspective for the first time as well about her feelings about everything, having to wait to be the third one in the fantasy suite dates, and just how she was processing and really struggling that entire week in Reykjavik, trying to process her emotions for Clayton and what she was hoping to get out of it, and what she thought was going to be the end result that night, and trying to express herself in the moment to Clayton, who just was, you could just see his head was spinning. He was having such a hard time, I think, compartmentalizing everything that was happening, because he absolutely never saw that coming.
When she did leave, was there, like, what did you say to him? Was there any advice you could give, or were you kind of like at a loss too? Like, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think my whole approach that night for him was just him needing to talk to somebody. Again, I knew how hopeful he was going into that night and how excited he was. He just seemed so defeated and was just experiencing the entire spectrum of emotions. So for me, it was trying to get him to talk about it so that he could calm down a little bit, because he was revving up for a while there. And, I was kind of thinking like this is sort of going on a trajectory, because to me, Susie seemed like she was very calm and composed the entire time. I thought she was doing a good job trying to keep it, trying to keep it civil, I think. So, for me with Clayton, it was just getting him to talk, and he was, like I said, he was spiraling. He was in a tough spot.
Yeah. Can you tease anything about the next rose ceremony with Gabby and Rachel? Anything?
The rose ceremony from hell.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm assuming it gets worse.
Okay.
So
huh?
he just wasn't in a good spot going into it, or
this will be a rose ceremony. This will be one of the most emotional / unforgettable rose ceremonies I think probably we've ever seen on The Bachelor.
Wow.
He's, you've seen pieces of it in the teasers. He's going to confront Rachel and Gabby there. He's going to explain to them that he's both fallen in love with them, that he's been intimate with both of them. And as you've already seen, it absolutely shatters the women. And
I
so
hear that directly from him. Yiza.
And so he's going to have to deal with the aftermath of that. And we're going to have to find out if he can recover. If this is something that Clayton can recover from, how do you move forward from this? And then ultimately, does Clayton end up in love, or does he leave Iceland alone, essentially in the same place that he was when he started this entire journey?
Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of Rachel and Gabby, what was his mind? Because you got to see him after all 3 dates, right? Or before he started a new date, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was his mindset after Rachel, after Gabby? Was it similar? Were you like, oh, there was a little difference?
It's really hard for me to sort of tell. I don't know how you feel about this. It's really hard for me personally to wrap my mind around falling in love with 2 people at the same time, let alone 3 people at the same time. And that's something that he kept talking about around this time. I'm watching him go on his overnight date, his fantasy suite with Rachel, tells her he's in love with her. I'm like, okay. And then same thing happens with Gabby. Amazing dates. They have this really special time together. There's a connection, and he says it again. And then, at that point, I feel like he sort of knew he was digging himself into a really tough spot, but it was just sort of like, hey, I'll just figure it out later.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm looking at him like,
you're not going to figure it out later.
It's not later, it's now.
Like, it's only getting worse.
Bring a big shovel.
It's hard too that all the women are in the
this.
same, they're staying in the same suite together.
Right.
So they have to come back from their overnight date to the other 2 women. No one's going to be excited about that. It's really hard to compartmentalize your relationship and your friendships when you're all staying together.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree to you. And I think you could sort of see that on their faces every time Rachel or Gabby came back from their date.
Mhm.
You know, Susie's there, they're all on the couch, and it's like you want to know what happened, but you don't really want to know what happened. So
Right.
you're sort of being very open-ended in your questions, but you don't want to be disrespectful to the other women, so you don't want to divulge too much. It's a very, very uncomfortable spot to be in. And I don't know how, other people in these positions have felt in the past, but what I can only imagine is at this point of the game, when there's 3 women left, this is when it really gets real. This is when the emotions. It's one thing before when you're in the house and you're there with all your friends and your buddies and you're kind of going on these dates and you're traveling and it's great. But I think when it gets to this time, it really sort of there's like a separation. And I think we're sort of seeing how difficult it was for all 3 of the women so far.
Man, you really got thrown in there with the Wolves, huh? Your first season as the host of The Bachelor. I mean, are you thinking like, okay, after this, it can only get easier?
We can't. It can only get better from here. I know. I did not know. I did not know what to expect coming in. I will say this, at the start of it, I was just thinking, man, this is just so much less pressure than being The Bachelor. You don't have to worry about the drama. You're not like handing out roses. I'm not going to forget anybody's name. We can just get through everything and just get through these dates. But what I realized later was because Clayton really is forging his own path and he's doing things that we've never seen done before. As a host, you're sort of in this position where you're sort of following along and you're trying to guide him and get him back on track and back on script. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned in all this, and probably the hardest part of being the host of this show, I think, is actually staying out of it. There's so many times that you want to insert yourself, because I've done it before. I can kind of see where the pitfalls are and where he might get in trouble or some alerts, and you just want to jump in and tell him, be like, hey man, just heads up, watch out for this.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I think the reality of this thing is, this is Clayton's journey. This is about him,
right?
And it's not about me as the host. It's about him, and really, Clayton's the guy that has to figure this out. He has to make decisions on his own, and he has to live with those decisions and the consequences of whatever those are. He has to sort of forge his own thing, and he has to see it through to the end. And it's, like, I don't have any kids, but I have friends that do. And they say, it's like just letting your kid off into the world and they're going to get their feelings hurt. They're going to bump their head. They're going to do all these things. You kind of have to let them do it to learn the lessons. And it's kind of a weird analogy for Clayton as well. You just have to kind of let him go and just sit back and then, kind of be there for him after the fact, just to help him try to process everything that's happened.
It's funny you say that, because his dad had some funny comments.
I know everybody feels real bad for Susie right now, but all I kept thinking was just poor Jesse. I mean, I can't believe they put you through all this. So how are you feeling about the live finale? You excited? You nervous?
All the feels. I'm definitely a little bit nervous. I'm more excited than anything, because I think, like you and like a lot of fans at home and the rest of Bachelor Nation, I just want to see how this thing ends up. I mean, I really hope Clayton ends up happy. I hope he gets what he wants, but we don't know how this thing ends.
Right.
Monday night and Tuesday night, Clayton's going to be there. He's going to have to confront the women and talk about falling in love with all 3 of them. He's going to have to confront Susie about the conversation they had. He's going to have to confront Susie about the tone. We're going to find out sort of what happened in the aftermath, and sort of where we go from here. There's so much unknown, even for me as the host. So I'm going to be right there along with everybody else, just kind of getting through this as we go. It's funny, we kind of feel like we're at the end, but in a weird way, I think there's still so much more left to be discovered on Clayton's journey here.
Yeah. And I want to know, because like you said, you have to stay out, and I respect that, and that is hard, but as these athletes that you guys are, after everything's said and done, regardless of if he ends up with someone, if he doesn't, do you think you'll have that conversation with him? Like, okay, so here's where you went wrong. Or here's what you could have did better. Like, let's go back to the playbook here. I've been taking notes because I've been waiting to have this.
Roll the tapes.
Exactly. Well, do you think you'll do that with him?
It's like we say in football, the eye and the sky don't lie. Everything's on tape. We'll go back and watch it. And, I'm sure we definitely will have some of those conversations. I do want to preface that, though, by saying I was definitely not anything close to the perfect bachelor myself. So I'm not necessarily in a position to sit there and tell him, dude, you should have done this. I would have said that, done it that way, because I'm nowhere close to being the penultimate bachelor. But I think we'll definitely have a chance to have some more open and honest discussions about sort of kind of everything that went down. There's a lot to look back on. This has definitely been a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but do you think anybody will be the perfect lead? I mean,
that's
how do you?
exactly what I was going to say. How do you date 30 women the correct way? You can't. And how do you date 30 men the right way?
I agree.
Michelle did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, did.
She handled it very well.
Yeah. She's the teacher.
That's true.
She can handle groups.
She can communicate and speak English, unlike me back in 2004. She can put complete sentences together. That's my biggest advice. I don't know how you all feel, but if you were telling the next Bachelorette or the next Bachelor anything, wouldn't you just say, don't try to be perfect because you're not going to be? Inevitably, you are always going to look back on your experience and regret decisions you made. But all you can really ever do is make the best decision available to you in that moment with the information you have. We're all going to be paranoid about sending the wrong person home and making other mistakes, but that inevitably has to happen for you to forge your path to hopefully find your person. So I think anyone that comes in trying to be the perfect bachelor or the perfect bachelorette, to me, is just setting themselves up for disappointment, I think.
And in my opinion, and, this is just my opinion, so take it or leave it, but that's kind of how I feel like how Clayton went into it. Like, he strikes me as a guy like, I want to do this perfect. And it just bit him in the ass.
It's a great point, Joe. It's a great point, Joe. He, he wants everybody to like him so much. Mm-hmm. He just wants every decision to be unanimously, universally accepted and supported. And as we all know, Bachelor Nation, that is not an option. That's never going to happen. No. Just go on Twitter on Monday nights and watch. It's unbelievable. It's the best thing ever. It's just incredible what's coming out of there. But, and I don't know how many people know this too. Clayton never watched the show before he came on. He sort of was on The Bachelorette with Michelle without really knowing what happened. He obviously didn't last too long on Michelle's season. So he was kind of really coming into this thing very naive, not really understanding. And so I think that's part of the reason too. I think he thought this was going to be a lot simpler and a lot more straightforward than obviously it's been for him.
Mm-hmm. And also probably seeing the way that Michelle ended up with Nate, he's like, oh, that's gonna be me, that's gonna be great,
it's gonna be so easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see that and you kind of maybe think that, but the personal growth that happens for the Bachelor, the women, everybody, and I always talk about that with all of us in relationships. For you, when you were the Bachelor, was there something that going through the experience you were like, okay, I have to do this now when I date, or what did you learn?
That's a great question, Natasha. Vulnerability and communication, for sure. I grew up in this football world where it was just always expected. You had to always have the answer. Under no circumstance should you ever ask for help. Figure it out yourself. Get ready for the game, compete, win at all costs. And uncertainty and your mental health and feelings, those are all weaknesses that only get in the way from you striving and from succeeding. I think The Bachelor really taught me how to be more vulnerable, how to accept that, and how to communicate some of those feelings. I know that's really helped me in my marriage with my wife, Emily, now over the last 5 years. She's been so awesome at helping me communicate and open up when my feelings are hurt or I'm uncertain about something. I'm so much better. I'm nowhere close to being where I need to be, but I'm so much better at having the uncomfortable conversations and just getting on a level playing field with her emotionally.
Right.
I feel like we just know each other so much better in those moments, and you just sort of tear your walls down and And when you can just show yourself and be yourself, I think it makes it so much easier to understand each other. And I know that's a lesson, Natasha, that I definitely learned during my time on the show.
For sure.
Mm.
It's never too late to unlearn those things too, and to like learn how to do those things better. So that's really good. Really good advice.
All right. Well, I know we got to let you go, but before we do, everybody online, everyone's saying this is going to be the most dramatic, craziest ending, craziest season yet. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it all along, all season. This is going to be the wildest after the final rose / finale I think we've ever seen.
Oh gosh.
There is still more to come. Tia, you referenced this earlier. Clayton's going to meet with his family. His family doesn't let him off the hook.
No.
There's a lot of times we sort of see these situations where the family comes and they think their son or their daughter is just perfect and every decision they've made was the right one, and all these other mean women and these mean boys are really kind of messing. His family will call him out based on some of the decisions he's made. And we're going to see the aftermath of everything that's just been teased in Iceland with the other women, with Susie. There is a curveball coming Clayton's way. And I will just leave it at that. You're gonna have to tune in and watch. But again, we don't know how this ends. I'm hosting this thing. I have no idea how this thing is going to end. I swear to God, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Is it on purpose because of the live show why you guys haven't had communication? Because you'll get those moments live.
And you don't want to have any biased information either.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is, and this is me too, and I've been that way throughout this whole thing. Like I didn't get to meet Clayton until he got out of the limo in front of the house. That was my decision. I just wanted it to be a very real and very raw and authentic experience. And that's sort of the same way I want this ending to go. I don't want the clips. I don't want to see it. I want to react to it in real time, just like you all will, just like people at home and people in our audience live will be watching. I want to live that in the moment and ask the questions and have the conversations and get answers to what we're all thinking. Obviously, things that have sort of happened with Clayton up to now, we're sort of in uncharted waters. And I think that's part of what's playing into this uncertainty going into the ending is myself, the producers, we honestly just don't know. We don't know how this is going to end.
Oh, wow.
And that's the craziest. It's frightening. That's why I'm nervous. It's super frightening, but it's also, it's compelling. Like I'm just really, really excited to see how this ends.
Oh,
all right.
I hope
You've got me excited.
Okay.
Can't get a better teaser than that, people.
Yeah.
Jesse,
Wow.
It was a pleasure to finally meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I hope we do it again soon.
Yeah.
Yes, we're rooting
Thanks,
for you.
Jesse.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll see everybody.
Later.
Take care.
Oh, my heart, y'all.
I know my heart's racing.
My heart.
Good grief.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Jesse,
dog.
I think he's a fabulous host.
He is. He's a
I think
professional.
he's
really
through and
good.
through.
I think he's
really,
a great
really
host too, and I also am just like, it seems like every interaction that him and Clayton has too, he just seems like Clayton really trusts him, and he seems like a very just stand up, genuine person, and wow.
I like how he said too that he wasn't just going to tell Clayton what to do, because you could tell in the episode this week, the Fantasy Suite episode, that Clayton was going to Jesse saying like, "Man, what do I do?" And
Right.
Jesse's like, I don't know, man.
Right.
You got to figure it out. I can't tell you what you should do.
Right. He was looking for Jesse to be like, man,
So
you
lay it
know,
out for him. Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, so you could do this, or you could get with that. Or you could get
Right.
with this, or you can get with that. No.
Well, because in that role too, I feel like you kind of confide in that person that's seeing everything going on, but
And clearly
What
it
do
sounded
you do?
like Jesse wanted to, but he was like, I can't, because you got to make this decision. And then you're going to blame me if you do something and you know. Ooh, it's just tough. It's nice to have that lens, though. I really love hearing his perspective as, like, the person who's seeing it all go down.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
next week should be good.
Next week's going to be good. If Natasha, if you're, or Tia, but even though Tia, I know you're not going to be, but if you're in New York, I'm going to be there Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to be there Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to watch the show,
I'll be there. Oh my gosh, we'll go to my club and watch it. It'll be
Are you
fabulous.
finally going back home, Natasha?
I'm finally going home, y'all. People messaging me talking about, did you move to LA? No.
Basically,
no.
for a month.
Yeah. I will be back home, I think. So yeah, we should definitely watch it. And
Yep.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle these tweets though, Joe.
I have fun on Twitter. Tweet and look away. That's my move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right,
that's smart.
guys. That was
a good one.
thank you.
I'm pumped for next week. I'm ready to hear Clayton's dad say, "You screwed the pooch, son." That's straight up what he says. He's like, "You put yourself in this position, so should be good." But anyhow, great episode, guys. So thank you so much to our listeners, and thank you to Jesse for being here, and our boy Aaron for chiming in and letting us know the facts. We are always casting for upcoming seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Head to bachelornation.com/apply to nominate yourself or someone else.
Yes, and as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your questions. Let us know the questions you want us to ask, what guests you want on, anything you want to talk about. Follow us at ClickbaitBN on Instagram. All our links are there to our TikTok, our Facebook. Yeah.
And share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you're looking at this week. Clickbait is available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening. You can listen ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus and Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app. See you guys next week for a crazy recap.
Peace.